I want to welcome everybody into the Stahls Fulfill Engine How to Scale Your Business with Print on Demand webinar powered by Stahls here. My name is Dave. I've been in the decorating industry for over 15 years, learning how to screen print on my kitchen table. At one of the shops I worked at well over a decade ago, I saw the kind of birth of print on demand and these first steps into on-demand fulfillment, all the way to where it is now. I am very, very excited to be part of the Fulfill Engine team. And joined here today by the wonderful Nico Bellinghausen. Nico, introduce yourself, tell our audience here a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive right on in here today.
Absolutely. I've been with Stahls a few years since before they acquired Fill Engine, and I was on the front lines when they did get it. So I joined the Fill Engine team because I was so excited about what the software can do for decorators, and I'm here to share that further with you.
Yeah, a little bit of that advanced technical knowledge. Nico is an utmost expert, so I'm so thankful he's here today to join us and show you a little bit of the behind the scenes as we go into our full webinar session here today. Of course, through our agenda, we are talking about print on demand and fulfillment. So we'll cover a little bit about on-demand revenue streams and the trends that we've seen pushing to print on demand. Now, you've probably heard of services out there that are outsourcing artwork or outsourcing all of your orders out there, or just like a complete hands-off. And that's maybe portion of what we're talking about today, with a lot more profitability built in. Fulfill Engine, first and foremost, is built by decorators for decorators. But because it is so powerful, it connects everybody into, I think the best way to describe it is an ecosystem of blank apparel suppliers, equipment providers, and solutions that meet the needs of the modern customer. Amazon completely changed this e-commerce model, fueled by the rise really of e-commerce just a couple of years ago through the pandemic, that has zero signs of slowing down. So when we talk about profitability, we have to talk about automation, and we'll get into a lot of that here today. But we'll talk about those trends and kind of print on demand in general. If you're new to that, maybe you're a bulk decorator, you're looking to add a diversified revenue stream into your business, or just meet the opportunities and be the solution that your customers are already asking for when they say, hey, do you do online stores? We'll give you a brief intro here into Fulfill Engine as well. We'll talk about all of the decoration methods and the expanded capabilities that you pretty much have day one by using Fulfill Engine. And then we'll jump into a live demo. We'll talk about the products that you could set up. We'll show you a demo store and just how easy and intuitive this back-end user interface is, and all of the controls and functionality that you have. I got to just point out one of my favorite things, being an artist, a digital artist myself, the pixel perfect mockups that are automatically generated for you when you set up a product are so cool. So you got to stick around and see how this works. It's like, it feels like magic, but it's something that I've wished for my entire 15 years I've been in the decorating industry, and it is here now. And then we're going to try to save some time at the end for all of those questions as well. But like I said, if you have questions anytime throughout all of this, go ahead and just pepper them in right there. And I already see Brian in the chat there from Rawlsworks. It is so good to see you again, Brian. We got to meet at a show in person, like I was kind of talking about. I love that in-person education down in Tennessee. So awesome to see you as well. So let's dive right into it. And this is something that I've heard time and time again, from large conferences to small conferences. Just a couple months ago, I was at the Apparel Decorator Summit in Nashville, Tennessee, which is a very small 90 or so decorators that come to this event really to drive the industry forward. And one thing that was talked about so much was, number one, AI and automation, but number two, print on demand, e-commerce, and being able to support that as an apparel decorator, and how traditionally there was this huge expense to get into it. And now the bar has been lowered significantly, due in part a lot to the advancements in technology that Fulfill Engine has brought forward, over the past couple years. So one thing that was a constant throughout is that print on demand is no longer a trend, and it very much is the new standard for how decorators, distributors, team dealers are selling that teamwear, the fan gear, schools, regular retail merch, right? Corporate apparel, those corporate sites or employee workwear stores for fundraisers and so much more. Increasingly, especially now when we talk about maybe some uncertain economic times, that it has caused hesitancy for bulk buyers. And those of you as decorators out there, I would love to hear if you've kind of heard it the same, but from these large contract enterprise level decorators who said these customers who order $9,000 every spring of custom apparel have looked for ways because they don't want to be making those expenses right now, right? So they've slowed down for smaller orders or saying, hey, can we order when we need it? I think there's also this growing movement to reduce waste as everybody looks to maximize their dollar from every industry, from restaurants to local businesses, schools, healthcare, everywhere is looking to maximize their dollar. And they're looking to say, hey, we still have that bulk order of apparel for employees sitting in the closet, or hey, we gave out all of these corporate gifts at the company gifts at the end of the year, and we gave everybody that really cool t-shirt. Well, at least whoever bought it or HR thought it was a really cool t-shirt, and nobody actually wears them. So this is an ability to really create merch and options that people want to wear. And that's where we see a lot of these decorators really having success, is those customers that they saw some erosion on, right? And then being able to come back and position it and say, hey, instead of that big $9,000 bulk order, what if we set up an online store that you could pick and choose what you need when you need it? And that truly right there is print on demand. And Deanna in the chat here, all of our customers want on demand, right? And they want to make those slight changes. And the bulk orders and being agile as a decorator in some cases is not the easiest to do, right? So this is definitely one way to be able to do it. So when we look at print on demand as a whole, we understand that there's challenges. I myself am an apparel decorator, right? I haven't done it full time in a little while, but I still am very in tune, and I talk to many, many decorators and understand, let's just call them the traditional challenges of print on demand. And a lot of it, up front was just not listed really on here, or kind of on there, like the capital investments that you need to make to expand your decoration capabilities. Now, up until direct-to-film came out, printing on demand pretty much meant you needed a direct-to-garment printer, which if you've looked at the pricing of direct-to-garment printers, they are very pricey. And if you don't have the volume to support that, or the business workflow, or the automation to be hands-off, it could actually cost a lot of money in the long run. I know we see the same thing happening with people investing in direct-to-film printers now, who are quickly becoming aware it's a lot more than just a desktop unit. You push play and it prints, right? Same with direct to garment. There's a lot of knowledge and maintenance and upkeep that's required to keep these machines running. Now, direct to film, and at least accessibility to direct to film, has really lowered that bar and allowed essentially heat printing on demand to come to the forefront as a leading decoration method to fulfill orders on demand. But part of what I was kind of talking about too is that $17 billion in growth in the next 10 years. And I had a tab open with that study up. It was from 2014 or 2024. And the research that I just saw on LinkedIn a couple days ago, which is a brand new survey, actually puts that 17 billion in growth up over 20 billion. I think it's even in like the mid 20s. So the projections from last year have already risen of how much revenue and how much is being moved there into this print on demand space. But that's one thing that like you need to capitalize on it now and get in, because it's going to be much more of the standard and the norm, more than it already kind of is for certain markets, right? But that first challenge is it is expensive. It's complex to set up, and it's expensive as in I'm losing my profit margin, right? Which any online store service, typically you have to pay for the store, or the more stores you set up, you have to pay a hosting fee for those. If you're familiar with Shopify at all, that is the number one leading e-commerce solution out there on the internet right now. However, it is expensive, right? There is a monthly subscription fee in there that does, regardless of how much you sell, whether it a lot or a little, or maybe you work mostly with schools who do a big, let's say fall rush as there's that back to school. And then maybe in the springtime for spring sports, the start and stop periods of all those sporting goods, that's when they're ordering. But to have your Shopify, you're still paying monthly. Every month you're not using it, right? Where that's one thing here with Fulfill Engine that's completely eliminated, where you don't have those subscription fees essentially for your online store. And with Shopify, for every store that you want to set up, if you're going to set up more for each customer, you have to pay more. And I even know there's other platforms out there that are not Shopify that are the kind of priced similarly, maybe not as expensive as Shopify, but definitely not nearly as robust. Shopify is absolutely wonderful, as in, it helps you a lot with SEO and just there's a reason why it's the industry standard for e-commerce stores, right? But when we talk about complicated, now we have to talk about the time involved in setting up a store, right? And if you're not charging a customer for the setup of a store, and I have an example that I'll cover here at the end where decorators are charging quite a lot to their customers to host a store, depending on what market you're serving. And that could be as low as like, oh, here's a setup fee, to here is a monthly subscription where you already have passive revenue that's covering your time to set up the store. But with solutions that make it very, very easy to grow with scalable capacity. So whether you sell 10 items this week or 2,000, right? You're not scrambling to be able to meet your turn time to meet those demands for your customers. You don't have to add any extra staff. You don't have to add any extra equipment. Like I mentioned, those capital investments into machines, especially for small businesses, are a make or break, right? And the one business coach that I work a lot with, Marshall Atkinson, if you've ever seen any of our heat press transformations over the years, and he's been doing this for 35 years. And one of the things is any investment you're going to make in your business, if you could pay it off in 18 months or less, it is a fantastic investment into your business. For those of us who don't pay that off, it's a bad investment. And for starting up businesses or ones that operate lean with small teams, it's very, very, very expensive. David says here too, Shopify charges 4 times the monthly fee if you want to integrate to POD providers in that, right? So there's definitely costs associated with Shopify. They get away with doing a lot because their platform solution is, from a store level, from a POS, like point of sale system, it's phenomenal, right? So I don't want to knock Shopify at all, but it can get a little pricey. But if you're pushing the volume and you're using that as your retail store, I know plenty of businesses here, even just locally in the Cleveland, Ohio area, that use it to host their website, as well as run and track inventory for the one store that my friend's a manager at sells plants. Like it's a potting and planting store, right?
And there's absolutely use cases for Shopify, but we will cover that more in depth when we talk about web stores and how Fulfill Engine helps with that. And one other item I do want to make sure that we cover here is one of the main challenges that prevent people from getting into print on demand, as Dave covered a little bit, is the fact that it's hard to manage, because instead of dealing with bulk orders, you don't have much administrative work. You place an order for the blanks, you have them all in one place, transfers, easy to do. But now when you're dealing with 5, 10, 15 different individual orders, it becomes more of an administrative task to figure out how many blanks you need to order or how many transfers you need to order, because it's a lot of clicks and a lot of your time that you would rather spend selling or producing that you have to use to get things organized. And that makes it difficult to get into print on demand. That's kind of the labor heavy production, leads you to missing opportunities. And because all of your labor is going into organizing things, it just lowers your margin even further, because you have to value your own time. Because if you don't, then it's kind of, you don't work for free. I don't work for free. Dave doesn't work for free. You don't want to work for free. You have to value your time.
Time is money 100%. And when you talk about that administration of doing these small pieces, there is one extra piece to the puzzle there. And that is if you get it wrong. We're all humans. I am the first one to admit that I've made many mistakes in misprinting shirts or sending the customer the wrong shirt. When you have all of these, you're juggling all of these different orders in your shop. It happens, right? Yeah. Which is part of being human. We all make mistakes, but having a system that not only alleviates the time off your shoulders, but also ensures that those misprints don't happen, is a win-win when we talk about overcoming those typical challenges of, doing those smaller piece orders. And especially when maybe, when you look at just an order, you're a bulk order, I'm going to make $250 on this one order. That's great, right? But this single piece t-shirt, maybe I'm only making $5, which if that requires all of these manual touch points and going back and checking the order or copying and pasting a shipping address to buy a label, in many cases, your time now has completely eroded that margin that you've had on that. And that's one thing, if you go and watch our heat press transformation episode that we did at US Colorworks, they process 3,000 individual orders a day for on demand. And that is with almost zero misprints. And Fulfill Engine, spoiler alert, is what they're using to run their entire shop there. But we're gonna get a little bit deeper in here, right? So I want to talk about, or Nico here is going to talk about, how to scale your business with Fulfill Engine, as we were just kind of talking about some of those challenges.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've talked a lot about the challenges. Now let's talk about solutions. So Fulfill Engine can help you kind of take part in this print-on-demand new standard that we are seeing in the industry, because a lot of these challenges that we've identified, Fulfill Engine addresses. And there's kind of two main ways that you can do print-on-demand with Fulfill Engine. The first way is to do the production yourself in-house, which the system does help with. And the second way is we can outsource the orders to our decorator network. Now, Fulfill Engine can do a lot, and it's just more than we can really cover in a 1-hour webinar. So we made the decision to focus this webinar on the outsourcing to our decorator network. If you are looking to learn more about how Fulfill Engine can help you do production in-house, I would recommend setting up a one-on-one web demo with one of our sales team after, and that link will be provided. We'll go in more depth one-on-one. But here we're going to focus on outsourcing. And how do we outsource? Well, we have easy to use white label stores that we host for you. You can have as many as you'd like to collect the orders. Then the nationwide decorator network is the one that would then fulfill the orders on your behalf. We're connected with major blank suppliers such as S&S Activewear and Sanmar. The system has something called price lists, which allow you to tell Fulfill Engine how you want to make money. And there's all this end-to-end automation to help reduce errors. And as I mentioned, in-house decoration is supported. And if you want to learn more about that, schedule a demo with one of the Fulfill Engine sales team. So Dave, why don't we talk more about fulfillment on demand and how exactly our decorator network handles that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I see a question in here from Holly, like, we currently do in-house production, but we're considering outsourcing these orders on some occasions, which is a very, very smart business strategy, right? My example that I'll cover here at the end is a large contract screen printer, right? But they use on demand a little bit differently, right? But with that, if you are currently using, like, say, Ultra Color Max from Stahls right now, that is the same exact DTF that is used with this network fulfillment. So quality is first and foremost part of that conversation. We know how drop shipping business is. It is very, very lucrative, but the number one question is the quality. And that's one thing we'll cover here in just a minute. But when we talk about those online stores that Nico mentioned, the white label online stores, and if you're unfamiliar with what the term white label means, it means it's completely unbranded. The end customer doesn't know you as a decorator exist. They do not know that Fulfill Engine exists, right? Those stores are branded to your customer. So say I want to do a store for my local high school. It looks like their own store. And it allows you to open up unlimited amounts for any of your customers for no extra cost whatsoever. So one store or a million stores. I don't think anybody's put 1 million stores up, but I know some people have thousands. Right?
It might one day. They might one day, Dave. You never know.
One day build that up. But with all that volume, you have the ability to always be selling, which allows you to sell more than you currently have. When we talk about network fulfillment too, one thing we're going to talk about is the different decoration methods. So maybe you just have a heat press in-house. Maybe you have an embroidery machine too, and you could offer, but it's a single head. So stitching out one hat is going to take 13 to 20 minutes to stitch out one hat, right? And if you have an order for 200, you don't have time to do that. You're going to have hire somebody to come in and do that. We don't want to have to leverage any extra resources, right? You want to be able to deliver to your customer on time, but you're able to sell more than just flat decoration and heat printing, right? You could sell embroidery or even engraving or UV printing on hard goods, direct to garment for those. I know those, it's really cool. One of the trends that I love that's coming back is those kind of like retro styled shirts that are like the sports, the starter, the stuff like that kind of gritty 1990s grunge vibe for those t-shirts that like kind of have the fade that goes to the background. We see it really growing in popularity for like student athletes. That name, image, likeness market is where I see it blowing up. And especially if any of your customers trend maybe millennial and younger, it seems to be a very popular trend along with the boxy cut of t-shirts, right? But where something fades to the edges and has that big full color artwork, that's something where like direct to garment is great for, especially going on those cotton boxy tees. And you now have the ability to be able to sell that, or even screen printing. Maybe you don't screen print in house, you just use a heat press, but a customer comes to you with a 2,000 or a 5,000 piece order or something, and you want to be able to screen print it, but you don't want to have to go back and forth with a local vendor, getting a quote, getting back to your customer. Those are all costly delays where you could essentially quote and order a screen printed job right there, right in the back end of Fulfill Engine. Now, this also, like I think Holly had called out here, it really allows you to scale so agile from busy seasons where you're already at capacity. And if you hire somebody in, that's severely cutting into your profit margin where you could still make a lot of profit by outsourcing, right? Let alone you're going to have to train somebody to be able to keep up with some of that production. So you are able to maintain the same quality you're doing in-house, or even better in some cases, with going out to some of these other network fulfillment partners, right? The one thing too, as we talk about quality, it's super important, but turnaround time, we're currently at a 5-day service level agreement for every Fulfill Engine account that is leveraging network fulfillment through Fulfill Engine. I will say, happy to report that 3.9 average that I have posted right above is actually lower, right around 3.1 days on average for anything, whether we talk about direct to garment or DTF or embroidery, engraving, the UV printing, and so on, right? Screen printing does go outside of that. That's an on-demand turnaround. So I do want to mention that screen printing is outside that turnaround.
And we're fans of under-promising and over-delivering here at Stahls.
Yes. So that's why we publish 5, but it's great that I ran the report, just got it from our leadership team earlier this week. That's great. But the best part of all of this is that everything is automated, completely hands off. You don't have to email anybody. There is no copying and pasting data. There are no paper POs or work orders or going on to Sanmar or SNS and adding things, or manually going to another platform and saying, okay, I sold this t-shirt with this art. This is a left chest print. Here is the exact, style and the quantity and everything of what we need. It is connected and automated to be able to go all the way through, right? So, and that hands-off production is truly where you as a business owner get so much valuable time back. Of course, we could always charge more and increase our profit margins, but unless you could do things way faster, time is kind of a fixed thing that we run out of. So to have extra time back in your day, in some cases could be priceless, Yeah.
Basically with the Fulfill Engine, once you set up the product, if someone purchases it, you don't need to do anything further. It goes automatically to the network. They source the blank, they do the decoration, and they ship it to the end customer. And one thing that I have seen in the questions of people asking if you can outsource and do in-house production, the answer to that question is absolutely yes. You can do both. It's just that we're focusing here on the outsourcing aspect of that. And I believe we have the link posted in the most recent comment if you wanted to schedule a more in-depth one-on-one demo to go over the in-house production side.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I saw Andy asking about that, and Mike kind of following up in there as well. And so that is definitely something that you can do. And when you get that discovery call, you'll see it's just a checkbox, right? Like what you want to produce in-house versus the capabilities that you have outside of that.
But Dave, I'm sure that people here are wondering how we say quality. Salespeople can always say quality, but what does quality first mean for the Decorator Network here at Fulfillment?
Absolutely. So very similar to what I said earlier, like that is when I talk to any decorator, distributor, team dealer, anybody in the apparel decorating industry in some way or another, quality is always top of mind. And this is where being built for decorators by decorators really helps Fulfill Engine in the actual quality. So there is a network. We do not just allow anybody to be able to produce orders for the Fulfill Engine network. There is a vetted and trusted, very small pool. Now, as over the past 2 years, as the demand has definitely grown, this list is growing, but they need to be proficient decorators that we trust to maintain the minimum standard of quality. Without that, this entire thing falls apart. And for many of you out there may have tried to use other print-on-demand services that just ship it to anywhere, right? We've heard that even from like transfer companies, right, that outsource to the local person. You never have consistent quality. So that is first and foremost very, very important. Those 10 decorators, very proficient, and maintain a 0.5% replacement rate. Now, we see that on the back end because the blanks are ordered through the system and go directly to the decorator, as well as we make sure that they are hitting their turn time. So before getting selected to be on this network of decorators that you could utilize, we ensure that they know how to use Fulfill Engine and use it proficiently. We know that they are quality decorators, and we know that they could hit their turn times, right? So those are the main 3 criteria that are, number one, most important to the end customer. That's what they care about. And we understand that they're representing your business because all of this is white label. The end customer doesn't know that any of this is going on in the background. They think that you are doing it, right? That your customer who's buying from that online store, that local business that stands up an online store, it looks like it's theirs. This is all happening in the background all together. And with that network too, they have all of these expanded capabilities. So if you order an embroidered hat or a DTF printed on a shirt and maybe even like a laser engraved tumbler, right? All of that is going to get grouped together to ship together. So now it's cutting down shipping costs and routing to a facility closest to your end customer, again, to try to be as fast as that Amazon fast. But we're talking about custom products here too, right? Go for it, Nico.
Just at the end of the day, our goal is we know that when your customers receive the products, that it represents you, and we want to make you look good. And it allows you to offer all those different product offerings that your customers are looking for, so you can become more that one-stop shop for your client for all of their custom apparel and promotional item needs.
100%. Yeah. And then you have that scalable capacity too, that we had talked about with outsourcing, right? That overflow during busy season, or you want to take a vacation. And I mean, I've met so many decorators over the years that are, like a one-person shop, or maybe like a husband and wife team. One of them, fantastic, just became great friends with over the past couple of years, right? Where it is a very small team. And if you want to take a vacation, the entire shop shuts down. All of those online store orders pile up, and having been on the one end of that, being on vacation, stressing about how much work is going to be there when you come back, is not a way to decompress or relax at all, knowing that you could still be making revenue and everything's still going out to this network, right? So having that ability to set that up and always be on demand, always be generating revenue is so important for a diversified income portfolio for your business. Now, one thing here too that I do want to mention, and we're going to see this in the product builder. I already kind of mentioned it as like one of my favorite things, but in this product builder, when it's making those mock-ups, it is actually pre-flighting your artwork as well. So depending for the decoration method of what you're doing, it knows that your artwork is good enough quality, 300 DPI, regardless of what size you tell it that you wanted it printed at. And it really eliminates any production errors down the road. Now, being in decoration for 15 years, I am an absolute wealth of knowledge. And I know direct to garment could only go on cotton dominant garments, or in some cases, cotton poly blends, but still cotton dominant. It's going to wash out of all poly unless you have one of those really fancy direct to garment printers that just came out in the past couple of years that allow you to print on polyester. You don't need to memorize any of that, right? All of that system is guided on Rails. So if you select direct to garment, it's not even going to show you those fleece options that are polyester dominant on the outside. It's not going to show you performance wear that's not going to be able to work with that decoration technique. So you don't need to be an expert. It's going to keep this entire product building experience on Rails. And the product building experience includes over 12,000 different items. And I saw Mike in here saying too, like, what if one of the vendors doesn't offer a brand that a customer needs because of licensing agreements? You have access to every major supplier in the apparel decorating game right now. Sanmar, S&S. You have the entire catalog from Momentech brands. So a lot of that sportswear in there as well. You have Carolina Made. So even more there. JDS Industries for all of the hard goods. You don't need an account at any of these places either. You have access to be able to order from these entire catalogs. Lane 7, right? That retail ready lineup direct from Lane 7. Or one of my favorites, only because they're one of my they just fit, the t-shirts fit me so well, AS Color. It is like right now at this current time, I've had a lot of favorite t-shirts being in the decorating industry over the years, but AS Color is up and by most one of my favorite right now. You have access to every single one of those day one, turnkey, do not need to set up an account. So you may completely eliminate that problem that you have there, Mike. And so I do want to keep us going because I don't want to run out of time. We got to get to the meat and potatoes here. I already kind of talked about a little bit of the decorated methods. Direct to film, of course, utilizes Ultracolor Max for a standard of quality. Not all direct to film is created equal. And we know those ones that the colors don't look vibrant, they crack or they wrinkle or peel up. Nah, all of this is Ultracolor Max. So if you're currently using that for your DTF, the same exact quality of what you've already been providing. And if you provide the same exact file, they are the same exact colors the same way. I know our team, our research and development and production teams are so laser focused on meeting that consistency that decorators and customers really need. So all of it is Ultracolor Max, direct to film. Stahls produces it and puts it in the decorating facility for you. So it is not any of those whoever fly by night or whatever printer or materials they have. It's standardized. Direct to garment in there as well to be able to offer that as that, how I talked about the fading. Embroidery. Now with embroidery, you do need to supply a DST file because you're going to assign the thread colors, which I think Nico's going to show you. Nico, you have a DST file here.
Absolutely,
for the demo.
Dave.
Perfect. I'm not going to get too much into that. UV printing, when we talk about hard goods, tumblers. I have a notebook somewhere. It's the one I write in every day, but essentially it has a UV print on the outside from an event that I attended. You could offer those to corporate customers and clients without having to get into UV printing. The same with engraving. You want to do high-end tumblers, mugs, like what I'm holding right here, right? A little travel mug. You could absolutely make one of those laser engraved without having to get a CO2 laser or learn any of that. You have that ability. And all of those are single piece minimums. You could order just one. With screen printing, outsourcing through this decorator network for the network fulfillment, it is a minimum of 24. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But the price lists are agreed to. All of this is flat rate decoration pricing for each one of these different decoration methods. The only one that does vary is embroidery based on the actual stitch count. So the base pricing is up to 5,000 or 6,000 stitches, Nico. And then on top of that, if you're adding additional stitches, it does vary.
6,000.
6,000 stitches. So that's the base price for the embroidery. I know with direct to film, it's not a square inch pricing. It is a flat rate. And it includes application. So really cool. And stay tuned because there are some absolutely incredible advancements in technology coming that will be more decoration methods that are included in here. We're getting to the white label. We're getting to the selling with online stores here. I'm going to hand it over to Nico, who's going to take us through this and then into our demo when we're when we're ready to see it. I know I'm ready to see it. I get excited every time.
Absolutely. We're gonna have a fun time with it. But let's get us to the next slide here, Dave. One step at a time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think we went one too far. No, yes. So we've talked a lot about how the network can decorate the orders for you. Now, the next question is, how do you collect those orders in the first place? Now, we talked a little bit about the white label stores ahead of time. We also have embedded stores, Shopify integration, Order My Gear, and you can also enter orders in directly for those bulk orders for those clients. Now, one of the reasons we have these different options is because different situations call for different solutions. So let's say you're working with a smaller client and you only expect a few orders to come out of it. That is going to be a perfect use case for our white label stores, because you can have as many white label stores as you like, no additional cost for Fulfill Engine. They're easy to set up, and they have all the features that are needed to build those products and collect the orders for those clients. Now, if you have a client that wants a little bit more in terms of features, like they want to customize the way the web store looks like, that's where we have the embedded store. The embedded store also allows you to take that white label store and put it on existing websites. So if you have a client like a school that already has a website, instead of directing their clients to a new URL, you can instead put the white label store on a page on their website, so they can just tell their customers or clients to go to their existing website to purchase from you through that white label embedded store. So it's kind of good for those that want a little more customization or clients that already have websites. Now, let's say you have a opportunity or a client that does tons of volume. We're talking hundreds of orders a month, if not per week. Now that's really where Shopify comes in, because as Dave was mentioning, Shopify has done e-commerce right. They know what they are doing, and they charge a premium for it. So when you have those large volume stores where you need those extra bells and whistles, and you have the volume to justify the extra added cost of Shopify, we do have that integration with Shopify, so you can use that to collect the orders, and they would flow from Shopify directly to our decorator network. We also have a similar integration with Order My Gear, as they also kind of specialize on the e-commerce side, so that if you have those Order My Gear shops, you can then connect them to Fulfill Engine. So orders come in for Order My Gear directly to Fulfill Engine. We source, we decorate, we ship, and your customers are able to experience that wonderful print on demand that they're learning to expect and demand in today's market. And for those that are looking for screen print orders, as Dave mentioned, we also have a way for you to enter those bulk orders directly into the system and get you taken care of that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to order bulk embroidery even through the system, if you want to order the bulk screen printing, or even just a bulk, you could place it manually without setting up an online store. It has those controls in the back end. I see Donna asking some questions here, saying, I've been in business since 1989, PPAI member. What about discounts in the accounts with SAMR, JDS, SMS? Of course, you could bring and link your own accounts if you are decorating in-house. If you are outsourcing to the network, I saw a follow-up question. Bottom line, can Fulfill Engine match beat my current product discounts and volume free shipping? So all of the shipping to the apparel supplier to a network decorator is completely free. So we've already had that completely worked out with all the suppliers. I believe there's one supplier that does not have a free shipping program, but it's one of those direct from the mill. All of the major suppliers will ship free. So you're not getting charged anything there. And with the volume of orders that are going through the system, likely the discount on the apparel with the negotiated rate, you'll see it on the back end when you start setting up products. Of course, you would see the pricing with the decoration, unless you're setting just a blank garment. But in most cases, at least with a lot of the folks that I've talked to who have been in business just as long as you have, the pricing is very comparable, if not lower, because of the I was going to say weekly or monthly volume, but really it's the daily volume that's already running through this ecosystem. And the integrated partnerships we are so proud of, and our team works to maintain to keep those costs low for you without getting nickeled and dimed with any shipping. Now, for decorating in-house, it's 100% on your accounts that you already have, but that's a discovery call. I don't want to distract us here.
Yes, but yeah, so basically if if you're outsourcing the decorator network, the decorator network's accounts are the ones that are placing the order, and you will get charged for the blanks, as Dave was mentioning. Though, if you are doing it in-house, it's all your accounts. So whoever's doing the decoration, that's whose accounts are being used effectively. But we've talked a little bit about kind of when to use what store. Now, Dave's going to cover some use cases on what you can use the stores for. It's like, who would want to use white label stores, Dave?
100%. So white label stores are great for everybody. I know me personally, I'm a band and I've been a musician for as long as I can remember. And that's how I started printing apparel anyway. So I don't have it on here, but stores for bands, right? Those local bands who don't want to buy a Shopify, but want to be able to sell merch to their fans, or maybe place the bulk order to take on tour or take to certain shows. It's just A plus easy solution that I use to help my friends out who are very, very close friends or fellow bandmates, right? Corporate stores we see as a huge opportunity when we talk about branded employee apparel, that internal ordering and gifts, and especially when we look at the current economic climate and those businesses looking to minimize their expenses. This is an easy win with any customer you already have your foot in the door, or an easy win for you to go and approach those local businesses in your company, in your local area, those company headquarters that are in your town. Approach them and say, how are you doing your employee apparel? How are you doing onboarding, right? How are you purchasing this? Because I think I have a better solution that's going to fit your needs. 100% it does. Profit sharing. So when you want to partner with schools for fundraisers or clubs, even when we're talking about retail, influencers, right, is a huge thing now where people have built these huge online followings and looking to monetize it. And they want to set up an easy online store. You're able to knock that out of the park for them. Teams, those athletic departments, right, where you're going to kind of share profits with them. You'll set your margin. They set their retail price on top of that, and then they take that scoop. Love it, because Fulfill Engine manages that and tracks that money for you. And you can see it right on the order, how much money you made off that order and how much money you have to pay out, right? Talking about point stores too. So when we talk about that employee apparel or that onboarding, hey, here's 60 points. Go buy what you can with 60 points. So money is not even a hidden thing. The same with gift cards, right? So if a customer wants to offer gift cards to their employees for a certain amount or a certain level of how long you've been with the company, you get extra levels of gifts. Or we've seen this even with healthcare, right? Where there's a lot of turnover in certain positions. So they'll offer a small gift card first to maybe get a t-shirt or a hat or something that they're going to wear. Then after 90 days, they issue a larger one to be able to, hey, now you could go ahead and maybe get a jacket or a nice, before the company wants to put that expense into an employee, that not right away, right? But before they bounce and then leave with that nice North Face jacket.
Don't want to cut you off too much, Dave, that we are running a little short on time. We haven't shown them the software yet.
Get us to it, Nico.
We want to get you there, but one last thing I want to note on the previous one is a big selling point for a lot of these corporate stores is the fact that there's no risk involved in them. They don't need to place a bulk order for a lot of inventory. It's all print on demand, and that is what I find is very appealing to these end customers and these corporate entities. But let's go ahead and skip to the next slide, because we've had a lot of talk here. It's enough talk finally. Let's see it in action. So I'm going to go ahead and
show us,
share
Nico,
my screen here. Let's see, make sure I get the correct one. And here we go.
As you're pulling it up, Bobby asked a question in here. So on free shipping I have now with SNS, does that apply to quantities like 6 or 12 pieces? When you're outsourcing to the network, you will not pay shipping for one piece, right? Now, if you're using it for in-house decoration, it's going to hit whatever rules you have set up with your current vendor.
So you're not going to pay shipping for getting it from the supplier to the decorator, but there will, of course, be shipping from the decorator to the end customer, just for clarification.
Yes. Thank you, Nico. Yeah, I didn't want that to come off wrong. Yes, and Donna, this webinar will be posted online. Yes.
Awesome. So as you can see here, this is the back end of Fulfill Engine. We have accounts and we have stores, and kind of the logic of it is for each of your clients, you'd set up an account for them, and then you have the stores underneath that. One of the reasons we have this sort of hierarchy is because of the pricing sheet that you see here. As I mentioned earlier, the price sheet is basically a tool that lets you tell Fulfill Engine how you want to make money in this equation. And I'm going to just quickly bump into the price sheet because I do believe that it is valuable to go over. This is kind of allows you to, it tells you kind of what your cost would be from the network, as there is a 10% margin on the material cost. You can you can say like, hey, I want a 75% margin, or I want to make a $5 minimum markup on shirts. You can also go to the decoration. Like here, it shows you what the network's going to charge you for each decoration type. You can either charge that same amount or say, hey, I want to charge $7.50 for it. So you can build your profit margin into the pricing with the costs already all accounted for. You can even add a margin on shipping. And we also have this more advanced feature here that if you do have profit sharing with your clients on these stores, you have the option to pass on some of the cost to your profit sharing partner, like credit card processing and the order fees, which we will go on later. But basically, all of this is customizable on the pricing sheet, and we're more than happy to go over this more in depth in a one-on-one demo. But that's kind of what how the system works. Now, if we go back into the stores here, we have our Franklin State University's account set up here. And this is the account view. This is where all the stores for the account would live. And this is also where you place those bulk orders to the network with the build a quote or order now, with build a quote being especially nice because that quote you can actually send to your client via email. And once they pay for it on that email, order goes directly to the network, no additional steps. So creating stores is relatively simple. Store name, URL, billing description, easy as can be. We're going to go into a store that has already been built out, our Franklin State University store here. Now, before we go into building the products, let's talk a little bit about building the store. So building a store, very simple and straightforward. We have branding down here. We have hero images that you can put on, contact emails, so on and so forth. But one of the more important things, in my personal opinion, is the billing description. So just like the store itself is white labeled, you can white label what your end customer will see when they purchase something on their credit card statement. So if you had Franklin State University as the store, you could have Franklin State merch on the credit card description so that they're more likely to recognize the charge and less likely to do something silly like dispute the payment. And the white labeling doesn't end there. It can also be on the return address on the shipping label. So you can make it look like it's shipping from you or even your client instead of the decorator network. So we have those items there. And real quick, I also want to show you how easy embedding is, because when we iframes and stuff, that's all kind of tech talk. It can seem scary, but embedding is relatively simple. You just copy and paste the HTML script that you see here, the system generates for you, into the HTML of the website you want embedded on. It's very simple. You don't need to have an advanced degree in coding in order to get this taken care of. Most folk can do this relatively simply. So now that we've gone over the basics there, let us go into the products. We've been talking up this entire time. Products are relatively simple to create. We just go to products here, add product, and then the first thing it's going to do is ask us what decoration method we want to do. We have a few options here, and we're going to go ahead and select DTF. It will then show us all the items in the catalog that is eligible to be decorated with DTF. So it won't show you things like mugs with DTF because you can't put a DTF heat press on a mug. You can do a UV DTF, but not this DTF. So one thing I do want to draw to everyone's attention here is the price that you see below these shirts. Like the Gildan Soft Style t-shirt says $14.55. That price was generated by the pricing list that we went over earlier. So my pricing sheet has a $5 profit margin built in. So I know if I sell that shirt for $14.55, I'll be making $5 and all my costs will be covered. So you can modify that as you like, but it basically does those calculations for you automatically, so you're not accidentally underselling and selling at a loss. This helps make sure.
I've been there before, and it is awful.
Okay. We do the math for you, basically. So we try to make it as easy as possible. Then if we click into this product, we have our decoration areas. We have the front, back, left sleeve, and right sleeve as decoration areas. And you'll notice kind of these dotted boxes. You do have to stay within the dotted boxes for your designs. And you can either select a design you've already built or build a new one from scratch. Building a new one from scratch is relatively simple. You can upload new images, either raster or vector images. If you do upload a vector image, it will rasterize it at 300 dpi. Once you have that, you just select the image. It will then apply onto the shirt that you can then resize and move around as you would like. There are even some predetermined print locations that you can choose from. once you have found a design and placement that you like, you can then choose the colors that you want it to be available in. And as you can see, there are a lot of colors for the Gildan 64,000. So just go ahead and select all the colors you want the customers to be able to choose from. And then this brings us to the next bit is, how do you know what's in stock? Well, as we've mentioned before, we are integrated with suppliers, and part of that integration is knowing what they have in inventory. And we can see here by the tab here, like if we click the graphite heather here, we can see, hey, this is what the inventory is, the inventory levels for all the different sizes. And if we go down to graphite leather, which we saw with a warning symbol previously, it'll show, aha, they have no larges. So you may not want to choose that color when building a product, but this helps you make sure that when you're selling products, customers are able to purchase stuff that is in stock. Now, once you have those colors selected, you'll click Save Product, at which point it will generate that mockup that Dave referenced at the beginning of the demo for you automatically. And it takes the image, takes the mockup, makes this beautiful professional looking mockup for your end customer.
With all of those colorways that you just selected too, so you could thumb through there. And then one of the best things too, which I'm sure Nico's probably getting ready to show you on the live product, is what happens when, say, you still chose that graphite heather though, right? When you're setting this product up?
Come on, Dave, this is my first rodeo. Of course I did. And as Dave is referencing, as we'll see in just a moment when we see the live store, graphite heather, it will show as out of stock automatically. So if something goes out of stock, it'll update across all of your white label stores without any further involvement from you. So you're not accidentally selling products that you are unable to source. And once it comes back into stock, it becomes available once again. That's the automation is the way of the future, as they say.
100%. Yeah. Terry S, is there a chest logo area along with the full front? Absolutely. Yes, so just like Nico snap down to the lower left or the lower back or wherever, the left chest is a pre-configured, and then it's going to automatically size it to the max sizing area for a left chest too, which I believe is 4 inches here in the software, 4.5 inches. It does kind of provide you a box then to see how it's going to be on that shirt as well. I saw a question in here too that I wanted to talk with. Dawn asked about integrating with Order My Gear. So essentially you would stand up your pop-up shop in Order My Gear. You would add a product through Fulfill Engine here. All you have to do is ask, and you could get that turned on. That is zero cost to you using that. And Randy asked, how does this compare to Inksoft or Inktovo? For an on-demand workflow, this is automation end-to-end. So that's really where it's going to kind of be a little bit more than what Inksoft or Inktovo is. Randy, for your specific needs, we schedule a discovery call, and your rep will go through and they will understand what those pain points were with other software, and be 100% honest with you if that solution is going, or that challenge is going to be completely solved here by Fulfill Engine, or if what you're looking for isn't built here. But I think from the sounds of it, it might be.
So I knew we are coming close to our standard the cutoff time, and then I do apologize we weren't able to get through more quickly. We're going to continue on, though. For those that can't stay with us, thank you for your time, but we will keep on moving forward and try to get over through as much as we can as quickly as possible. So some other features that I do want to show here is, if you do have some corporate stores or fundraisers where you do have a profit sharing feature, the way the logic of the system works is the item cost has your profit margin built into it by the price sheet. And if you had a profit sharing partner that wanted, say, $3 per shirt, you would go to tasks, edit price, and add that $3 price markup there and click save. Now it would update the sales price and show $3 profit. Now every time you sell a product like this, it will record $3 of profit on an internal store view. So when it comes time for you to make your disbursement to your client, you know exactly how much is owed according to what is sold. Our system takes care of that for you. So less math, less accounting for you, and more focusing on just sales and simplicity. So you can also override the item cost at a later point in time. Like, hey, you want to make more than $14.55? Let's make an extra 45 cents there, and bam, and that will basically just add to your profit margin. So I think one thing that we wanted to show you also was the embroidery, and we can't forget that. So embroidery with Fulfill Engine is relatively straightforward. We add that by going to View Embroidery Artwork over here. And then we're going to add an embroidery file. You do have to upload a DST file, and you do need to provide that DST file yourself. That's not something that we offer at this point in time. And as you know, we want to make sure that you get a high quality one, because not all DST files are made the same. But once you have a DST file here, our system will actually draw out the threads. As you see here, it'll tell you the stitch count, tell you the width and height, and it allows you to select the colors. So with the colors, you only see 16 here, but this is the full list of PMS colors that are available through the Decorator Network. And as you can see, it's quite comprehensive. And we'd be more than happy to share this with anyone that is interested in seeing this full list. But we can offer a lot of variety when it comes to thread color with Fulfill Engine. So let's go back here. And let's go ahead and select this light blue for Franklin and save there. And it will automatically update that. We'll save the embroidery file. And then now that we have that embroidery file saved, we can now build an embroidery product just like we did that DST product here, except now we're going to select embroidery. So here,
and as Nico sets this up, this is one thing that really speaks to the quality, right? Because you're setting up this product, you're not just making a mock-up, you're not just creating an online store listing, you are creating the production blueprint that regardless of what decorator this goes to, it is going to be produced exactly the same way, with the same exact DST file on the same exact location that you spec, with the same exact thread color that you have selected. So that is how this quality is ensured that it's going to meet that standard regardless of who's decorating it.
Okay, we're going to put a new design on there. We're going to put that one we just created right across there. We'll choose some colors, and then we'll save that product.
And it actually uses the DST file here too. So it looks like in the mockup, it looks stitched. No weird Photoshop effects or anything with it. It is showcasing the real DST file. And Andrea asks, and here, the Madeira thread color list is in there as well, right?
Absolutely. That is one of the, we actually have a color palette that is focused specifically on Madeira. So we have those products. Now let's see what it looks like in an online store. So
Angela was asking.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for. So here we have our main header image that we have on there, and we have our various products. As you can see, we also have some engraving products on here and so on and so forth. But here is that shirt we built earlier. We have our different colors. And as you'll see here, large is out of stock as we promised. So now another thing to go over briefly is, let's say you have a design that you want to offer in one color or in two different colors. The way you do that, you build two different products in Fulfill Engine, one for each color, and you nest them together. As we can see here with this Franklin cap, we have the white stitching here, and then we go over here, it switches over to black. So you are able to offer those different color options for the different designs, and from the customer perspective, it looks like one. Because once you build the product, if someone places an order, everything goes directly to the Decorator Network to be fulfilled on your behalf.
Yeah. I see a question in here. Valerie asks, what's the difference in using Fulfill Engine directly versus Order My Gear? Order My Gear is going to be a little bit more robust in the options that you have for the online store. And then using Fulfill Engine on the back end is completely complementary in there, where essentially if you don't want to do any touch points and you want it to automatically go from a purchase to fulfilled to your customer completely hands off, that's where Fulfill Engine is going to come in. This online store builder, while you can configure it for point stores, is essentially this white label solution that we see here.
Yes, and as directly answering Philip's question, when it comes to Freedom, the white label store is relatively utilitarian. It covers the basics of what's needed. And if you're looking for additional design freedom, that's where we have the embedded white label store that allows you to have the additional freedom. And then, of course, you have Shopify or Order My Gear. So that's kind of why we have those different products for different use cases. Yeah. Okay.
Order My Gear is great for just the order collection too. If you're still set for doing everything manually, it's built for that a little bit more than the automated process that Fulfill Engine is truly built on.
Absolutely. So that's kind of the overview. So Dave, do we want to cover some success stories before we get to the pricing, or how do you want to structure that?
Absolutely, yeah. Let's go. I'll pull our slides back up, and we'll go right on over here. Do you see any questions in there while I do this, Nico, that you could be able to answer here real quick?
Absolutely. So what does the store look like online for the customer? This is, I mean, it might be an older comment. I do apologize. This is what it would look like for a customer. We also have some other options, like this is Strack. This is one of the demo stores we have. This is what that would look like for the customer. You even have the option of categories here. And then here is a quick example of what an embedded store looks like. Bulldog Tours, they do walking tours in South Carolina. One of the pages on their website is a swag shop, and then we have our embedded white label store here. And if they were to click into building products, you can see everything happens within that kind of box area, including the checkout where they can then purchase as needed.
Yeah. And Randy asks about turnaround time. Turnaround time is 5 days, is what we have under the service level agreement. We are currently averaging much less than that at a 3.1 day average for a variety. That's for the entire carton there. There was also one in here that was talking about personalization. Roxanne asks, is there a way to do personalization if I have a school store and someone say wants their name on a water bottle? Can you add that? And it looks like you have a product here already built for that.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. So we can go there, and then they can type Smith or something like that. There is a customizable field that you can add to products, which works for embroidery and engraving as well, that they can then go ahead and type their name in. Now, let's say they also have a large group. We have this newer feature because we are always adding new features in Fulfill Engine. It will always get better and better. And that's like, let's say that they were ordering for a large group, like they're doing graduation and they want to have their child's name customized on the shirt. Instead of ordering 15 different shirts, they type that customization once and they say, hey, I need 4 mediums, 3 larges, and 2 extra larges, and all of those shirts will be added with that customization that is desired. So it makes it easier for your end customers to place large quantity orders for these customized products.
Yep. And that's really cool because, yeah, with those embroidery files, there's quite a few different fonts that you could have in there as well. You could mark it as mandatory if, like, it is a jersey or something that a little league team is buying and you don't want somebody to just fly through checkout without customizing it. You can make it mandatory. You could choose different fonts in there as well to stylize. And then even when you go to DSTs, right, like when we're doing embroidery, you don't have to worry about any artwork creation on that. That DST file is made automatically, essentially, right, Nico?
For the customizable, yes, because we have that kind of built in the system, and we'll be most likely adding more fonts and such as time goes on.
Excellent. And Raquel asks, can it integrate with Wix? It can as an iframe embed, very similar to that Bulldog stores example that Nico showed here.
Basically, any website provider that allows you to modify the HTML script of the website, you can embed the iframe into, for the most part.
Yep. So we saw it in action here. Thank you so much for showing us that, Nico, especially in a quick little example there. Success stories, right? So one of the previous print shops that I worked at was a full service print shop, right? Contract printer. But even when I was there back in, let's say 2015 or 2016, everybody asked, can you guys do online stores, right? And at the time it was no, we can't do online stores, right? So you're only locked into a very specific bulk ordering or like individual ordering process that is very, very clunky manually, right? Well, while they are set up for screen print, while they are set up for bulk embroidery and even have a direct-to-garment printer, they use the network fulfillment for all of the online stores. They focus and staff for the work that they know is coming through the door. Everything else is just added revenue while providing opportunities for their customers to be able to be more flexible in how they want to buy or how they want to customize apparel, right? So they use the online stores with zero risk into added labor or staffing. Yes, the direct-to-garment printer is great because they use it for prototyping for big screen print jobs or the occasional small piece here and there for select customers. They don't want to staff it full time to be a production workhorse. Yes, they have heat presses, and yes, they utilize Ultracolor Max direct-to-film transfers, but they utilize them for those bags and the orders that they're using DTF for. They don't have the setup in place or the labor to do those minimal pieces. They use this network fulfillment and this online store platform as a complement to their existing bulk business, that they just make extra income right there. But the one thing here, like I talked about, it truly is allowing them to focus on making a better workplace for their current employees, meeting the solutions of their customers, and actively having the time now to make strategic growth for their business instead of chasing labor or always adapting. I saw somebody made a really good joke that actually made me laugh. Andrea said, well, it's almost back to school time. It'll go back up to 5 days. I read that and laughed out loud when I read that. So Andrea, bonus points to you. And that's definitely something that like is so important, that you have that scalable capacity, because when it's just you and you don't have any partners to lessen the workload, 100% you're going to push past those 5 days. There's only one of you, and maybe you're not at the ability to hire somebody. And if you are hiring somebody for the fall rush, you should have hired them already, because they're going to need training and you're going to need to have them proficient, so you're not holding their hand or taking time out of your day to be able to help them do the work that they should be doing. So this is truly a way to set up a passive revenue stream into your company. Now, I did mention there are some customers and decorators out there that do actually have a subscription fee they charge their customers. That shop that I was just mentioning, the one that I used to work at, they charge $49 per month. Now, they do that to cover their cost of setup for the store. They're going to invest their time to set up a store for a customer. They're going to get on a phone call and be like, hey, what are you guys looking for? What audiences are you serving? Oh, great. You want some polos, right? Somebody made one in here that asked about password protected. They were working on a store for a police department where they just wanted people to come in. Oh, you want a new polo? You want a new, t-shirt? You want a new hat? Whatever it might be. You want a mug with the badge on it? Go in there and order it. But they were worried about the general public finding this site and being able to get this official look in police gear. Password protected. Easy as that, right? So, but they use that for these stores, for the customers who ask, that supplements their existing bulk business. When you look at schools, right? I know schools are such a huge market. There's always going to be the events that happen. There's always going to be those bulk orders. But so many schools are asking now, hey, could you get us a spirit shop set up online, right? And if you say no, oh, no, we don't really do that, that risks them going out and finding somebody who's going to do that, which then could put your bulk, the existing bulk work and relationship that you already have with that customer, at risk. Because if that other shop that they find that does do those online stores goes, bulk orders, yeah, no problem. We could do those too. Oh, could you give us a price? We have another vendor that we've used for years, but just while we're using you, send us a price. And it's better than your price, or they like their service better, you just lost a customer. So future-proof your business, give yourself some more time, and be able to afford yourself this diverse income revenue stream, truly that benefits the smallest decorators just getting started, or existing shops that have been doing this for 30 or 40 years, that maybe you felt that plateau where it's, do we want to hire more people? Do we need to invest in more equipment? I don't really want to make an investment right now. I don't know where this work's going. You know, that one customer that used us for 30 years just shut down last year, and we're still actively trying to replace a customer that spent as much money, whatever it might be in your business, right? You have these options now available, taking a lot of this automation out of your hands. And 100%, Karen, we could email you out this presentation as well. And of course, you could always view the replay here.
So Dave, I think it's time for the $1 million question. What does it cost to get signed up with Fulfill Engine? And as we see in the slide here, we do have a one-time onboarding of $4.99. Now, this is for the sales portal only version of Fulfill Engine, which allows you to access the decorator network and sell items directly there, and with the price sheet and so on and so forth. If you do want the in-house production version of Fulfill Engine, that will be a different cost, which you can see online, and we can go over more in depth on a one-on-one discovery call.
Yep.
Once you have that one-time onboarding fee, there's no annual fee, there's no anything like that. It's just a transaction fee based on how you use it. So, and it's 3.5% transaction fee. It's covered by our faces there, unfortunately, just a little bit. But that is if the order comes in. Oh, I guess Dave hit his face.
I just hit my face so you can see.
Took one for the team, Dave. Say bye-bye to Dave again. Okay, there we go. It's a 3.5% transaction fee there. That's if the order comes in through a white label store or entered directly into the system. If the order comes through an API, such as Shopify or Order My Gear, it is instead 50 cents per item. So it's one or the other, never both, and that's as you use the software. So
Yep.
if you set it up and you have a slow month and you get no sales, no cost from Fulfill Engine. And if you do have kind of that banger month, you're just paying as those orders come in. And as long as you set it up correctly, each order that comes in will be revenue and profit positive for you. So you can set it up so you only make money with Fulfill Engine.
Yep, 100%. I see some questions in here too. Steven asks, can each t-shirt be customized with different names? For example, cheerleading squad having the same custom shirt, but different names on the back for each girl. Very similar to the solution that the example that Nico showed, where it was a polo with a left chest print, but the ability to put a name on the back. Absolutely. All you do is set that customization. And if they don't want to put a name on the back, they could just decorate the front of the shirt. You could set it mandatory if you want to require it, or if they just don't want anything on the back, they could absolutely do it that way as well.
And when you add those extra customizations, the cost for that customization gets added automatically to the price of the product, so that is dynamic.
Yep. And it is another print location, right? So you should be charging your customer for that. If you're here, you probably already know customization is a great way to add some extra profit in revenue in your pocket. I see a question by Bobby, right? So here, if there are scattered orders, right, are they consolidated to hold down cost, or you print as they come in? Say if John orders a polo and cap, are they produced immediately then shipped out? I would be somewhat concerned about shipping costs for such a small order. So that is the beauty of this network fulfillment, is that these shops are getting such volume to them from all of these suppliers, and the agreements that we have worked out with each one of these suppliers and negotiated requires zero shipping cost from the supplier to the decorator. The only shipping cost is going to your end customer like they're buying anything else online, right? So there is no long wait times. Everything is fulfilled when it comes in, right? Now, when we talk about in-house decoration, that's a different conversation, but book a discovery call if you're interested in in-house decoration. We're more than happy to walk through exactly what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so as just to reiterate what Dave was saying, if the small orders come in, it's the way our system works is it's not just one order. It's not just one shirt that's being ordered. It's the decorators are getting dozens and hundreds of orders consolidated at once. So that one order that's coming in, they print it on demand. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get that on-demand fulfillment without needing to worry about shipping costs from your suppliers. Now, of course, there's shipping costs to send it to the customer, but that's just the era of online shipping that we live in. Another thing, Richard, love the question here. You can purchase the sales portal only and then upgrade to the premium in-house version at any point in the future, just for the difference in cost for the onboarding. That is something that is absolutely supported.
100%. I see a question in there from Ross too.
Yes.
Is there an option for free shipping if you want to integrate it all into the customer price?
Yes, you can. So on that price sheet, you can select free shipping option, and the customer will not pay shipping, but you will be paying the shipping. Someone has to pay for the shipping, but you can make it so that you add that cost into your prices and the customer doesn't pay it, because I'm sure, Ross, we're all aware, no one likes paying for shipping.
Nope.
It can definitely get you that edge up over the competition.
We see that in there. I see it used a lot, right, for like the corporate stores, right, where like, hey, go on and order this, and then if it's points or whatever at the end of the day, like you just turn the shipping off, but you're going to charge your, the corporate headquarters that you're setting the store up for. You will charge them for the shipping. Do not ever eat the cost of shipping yourself. Don't do it. Yes, charge accordingly and protect those profit margins.
Yes. And then in that corporate environment that Dave just highlighted there's absolutely a way to make sure the end user doesn't pay shipping, and then you charge it to that corporate client.
Yeah.
So, and then one quick thing I want to go on is like, what happens once we process the onboarding? So for this $4.99 onboarding fee, the only way to get it processed currently is to set up a one-on-one demo with one of the sales team. We will go over, make sure that this is indeed the best product for you, for what you're looking to do. And then once we confirm that, we'll go ahead and get you signed up. And then once you get signed up, we would then hand you off to our wonderful accounts team, who will provide on-demand support as needed and make sure that you find success with the software.
Absolutely. I see it in the chat right there. But I think we answered a lot of these questions. If there are any more, we will leave the webinar running for just a little bit to add questions, or feel free to book a discovery call. It is absolutely free, no obligation, no risk. And just like Nico said, our team is here to make sure it is a good fit for your business. It isn't a sales pitch. It is, you have an opportunity to ask questions one-on-one and then see exactly when you say, like, how do you do customization? If it's Nico or one of our other team members, they'll go in and say, hey, okay, cool. Exactly right here is how you're going to set this up. And I saw a question in there for like, what does onboarding and support look like? With onboarding, of course, we're going to get you set up into the software. We'll let you know. We have an entire onboarding and customer success team that you could essentially reach out to, always available. There's a huge, super in-depth knowledge base that I think is like, my hat off to the team that put this together, because like the search actually works. You could search things. Now, a lot of it is on the back end, right? So the knowledge base isn't necessarily like super public knowledge, so you have to be logged into Fulfill Engine to see it. There is a very limited knowledge base available publicly, but searching in there if you want to learn how to set up a product, or maybe those nested products that Nico showed where it's a different design, but under the same parent product with different colorways or whatever it might be. There's absolutely documentation in there right now. I know I'm working with the team to put together a whole bunch of how-to videos, right? So, and that came from a customer request. We mentioned that more suppliers are being added as the need. If you have a supplier that you're like, why isn't that supplier integrated? Let us know. We're going to have that conversation, right? The same with growing the network fulfillment. All of the development too for this platform is based out of the United States. So the responsiveness of our development team is here to build solutions that actively help you out. And if you see over on our Stahls TV YouTube page, that US Colorworks shop visit that we did, where they're doing 3,000 garments a day, you hear from Rodney and Kevin and Tony, the owners and operators, they're out in production even too at US Colorworks, talk about how they would go back to Fulfill Engine and say, hey, this isn't working. We need a simpler process for this. This is how it should work. This system is built with decorators in mind to reduce those misprints, which when you leverage this network fulfillment, shops like US Colorworks are there to make sure that your customers receive the orders, the right order at the best quality it can be, receiving to them on time every single time. And that's truly what the beauty of Fulfill Engine and this entire ecosystem, from suppliers to the shops to you being a decorator or distributor in there, being able to set the products up with efficiency, the way that I've dreamed of being able to do it. I wish I could go back 15 years ago and talk to myself to be like, one day you'll never have to sit in Photoshop making mock-ups and guessing on placement ever again, right? Like,
they're just torturing your past self, Dave, at that point, because the technology wasn't there yet.
Wasn't there yet. Where was Fulfill Engine back then?
Absolutely. That's what I so one thing, a question did come up from Bobby is how we paid on the profit we set up. The beautiful thing about the Fulfill Engine sales portal is the payments are processed through Stripe account, and it's your Stripe account. So you connect your Stripe account to Fulfill Engine, and the way the money flows, it goes from the customer directly to your Stripe account, directly to your bank account. So we do not touch the revenue with the Fulfill Engine sales portal, so you would get paid almost immediately. And it seems like we lost Dave for just a second, but we are coming to an end anyway. But that's effectively how that works. So I think we'll have a few more moments. At this point in time, we are only integrated with Stripe as the payment processor. That may change in the future. If you are looking for other payment processor options, we do have the integration with Shopify. And as you know, with Shopify, you do have many options there. Welcome back, Dave.
Don't know what happened there. I bumped my desk and I left.
Absolutely. Well, I think that it's been absolutely wonderful having everyone here, and I want to thank everyone for attending. Once again, we will have this available as a recap that will be sent out after the webinar is finished. You can go ahead and scan that QR code if you want to set up a one-on-one demo with myself or one of the other Fulfill Engine sales team to have that one-on-one discovery call to go more in depth. Other than that, it was a pleasure hosting this webinar for you, and we'll catch you all next time.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. And be sure to schedule that demo. It is free, no risk, no obligation, and could be one of the best things for your business's growth this year. That'll take you 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, guys.